Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Yeah, women ain't looking for that provider like they used to, despite everything going on. They ain't looking for that provider, they looking for that D. And I'll probably just say just a provider, looking for that provider like they used to. Now, I know some guys don't believe that, but look, first of all, if a woman using you for money, she using you for money, but what do I always say? I always say that woman, she'll use a guy, have him take her to like a Michelin star restaurant, fancy restaurant, and get that big old doggy bag, but then have the guy drop her off somewhere and then drop her off, drop off somewhere, and she really got that big old doggy bag for the guy really tearing into her. Because, see, here's the thing, and this is even despite what's happening with the economy. Men have to get off that idea that they can get like that woman just based off of how much money they have. They gotta get off of it. Yeah, you'll get the acceptable hoes that way. See, Pimp God, I'm starting off that way. You can get the acceptable hoes that way, but you're not gonna really get a woman really into you. Because these women, see, here's the thing. These women got their own cars. They got their own houses. They got whatever. Yeah, and this is despite what's happening with the economy now. Despite some of these women being laid off or whatever. They doing their own thing. Because, let's just be real. A lot of these women, despite the layoffs, there's still plenty of women with jobs. Plenty of women got their own stuff. Plenty of women got their own houses. Like, I know several women who've had houses literally built for more. They either built the houses or they got their own houses. They got their own shit. And despite everything happening with the economy, that might be like the poorer women and stuff. The poorer women. But there's a lot of women still doing their thing out here. So, I'm going to tell you what. One of the things that's happening is they don't need the man for money, but they still need that D. Because those dildos and stuff only go so far with these women. But they still want that guy pounding inside of them. They still want that guy they can wrap those fat old thighs around. Those fat thighs would save lives. Just a partial progression today, y'all. Yeah, I gotta drive a little bit slower today. I'm just coming from the eye doctor. Yeah. But they don't need what. See, the thing is, and a lot of men messed up. Used to be a man just had to be just that pure provider, because women couldn't get their own jobs. Hell, until the 70s, they couldn't even get their own house or credit card, anything like that. They couldn't get their own thing. They had to have a man. In fact, I remember, and this is back in the day, I had messed with this woman living in this building I was living in D.C., right? And she had been married for 20 years to this guy, but she just left him. I say, and he ain't really do anything wrong. He ain't do anything wrong. He just wasn't, she just doesn't want to be with him anymore. And I never forget what she said to him. I said, why'd you marry him? She said, for survival. See, women used to do that a lot. Women used to do that a lot. And see, that's one of the things you got to be thinking about when you're dealing with these women. They really not messing with a man just because. They ain't messing with him just because. You know? they needed survival. They needed that man to make money. But see, it's different now. See, women got their own money. They got their own cars. They got their own credit cards. They doing their own thing. But they still need that hot beef injection. See, that's the one thing. You see, that's why you got a lot of women looking for that type of man. Indeed, you got a lot of women out there. That's why you got a lot of women. They'll grab that homosexual. They'll grab that homosexual. Because all they need them for is that D. They need that hot beef injection. They don't need him for much else. And see, that's very important. That is very, very important. And it's important guys understand that. Because you got some guys thinking, well, I got all this money and stuff. Man, this ain't the 50s. If a woman is getting a man, or you want to get that woman, you got to turn her on sexually. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. She got to take a look at you and think you going to pound her. You don't have to take her out. Now, of course, yes, you do got some women still doing that. Like you hearing it from me, they using you. They using you. Or they some poor ass women. Now, if you want to mess with some poor women or some women using you for business, there's plenty of them. Stick with them. Stick with them. You don't have to worry about it. Stick with them. But I just had to see where this car was going. Like I said, coming from the eye doctor, so driving a little bit slower. Little bit slower. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Okay. Oh, man, they got these little bumps out here. I guess they counting the traffic. But I'm going to tell you what. If you really want to fuck, I know guys be telling y'all be watching some videos talking about, well, if you say this, or you look like you got status, you got money or something. Man, that's just a acculturated prostitute. Alright? That's not what y'all want. Because you can still get guys wanting women who ain't been with too many men. You still got guys who want, that one woman. But see, that one woman, she checking you out for the other stuff. And it's not even just getting with you sexually. She wants somebody she can actually deal with. You can't be that guy who just gonna go to work and provide her with that house and all of that. Shoot, even now, I'm gonna tell you what, if I wanted to be a dirty Mac about it, I could probably tear up some married women. Even now. Because they married that guy for that survival shit. And these some women closer to my age, they married that man for survival, but they really weren't into him. And I wish I had the proverbial dime every time a woman said to me, oh, he just a roommate. And I told you before about this one I call them all young. This one woman, I said, I was trying to get out. I was like, hey, why don't you, I said to her, why don't you switch it up this time? Have sex with your husband. She looked at me like I was saying had sex with a gargoyle. But, you got you got a lot of women, indeed. That's the woman's, how many of these women will cheat on a man. They'll get that one man, the older ones, for survival. Now, see, they'll get them for survival, but then cheat with some young guy. But then the younger ones, they like, fuck it. They don't need them for money anymore. Like, you look at these younger women, shit, more of them in college, more of them got their own shit. They got their own money. They don't have to put up with any guy just because some guy come up to them and say, well, I'll take care of you. They looking at him like, motherfucker, I don't need that. I don't need that. Shit, I got my own house. I got my own car. But they still need that hot beef injection. They still need that man to wrap around them. See, they still need that masculine energy. And That's what a lot of guys gotta understand. But see, a lot of guys wanted to go back to some 50 shit. That shit ain't gonna happen. That shit ain't gonna happen. These women been out here, they got their shit going on. They got their own money, they got their own lives. And that dildo will only take them so far. They doing their own shit, going partying, traveling, whatever. Hell, that's why you got like gigolos making money. That's why you got those male exotic dancers. That's why you got that sex tourism. And I've said this before. Don't think that Passport Bro is some unique shit. These women been going out, and they been going out. I heard about them like traveling, back in the 80s, early 80s. And I remember some women telling me about that, smiling, going down there, 87, that's when Eddie Murphy did that Raw concert. He talked about Dexter St. Jock. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But many men just have to understand that shit. So, what do you do as a man? Okay, fine. You making money, make money for yourself. But see, these women, they looking for that guy that's going to hit them on that sexual basis. That's why I talk about body game. Body game is the main thing that turns on women. I'll get into that. I ain't really talked about body game in a while. I'll get into that again this week. They looking for that guy who can really just click with them. It's not even about the money. Like I said, you still, you still gonna get some women out there who gonna use a man for his money. And, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But they just using him. Like I said, they'll get that doggy bag and take it to that guy. They'll take it back to that street dude, like staying on top of, sleeping on the air mattress. But he can fuck them, you know? You know, just like I be saying sometimes, she got a fat ass, though. Shit, they be looking at a guy, they be like, he got a big dick, though. You know? He know what to do with his shit. He be having them hollering. Shit. Have them speaking in tongues and shit. Have their eyes rolling back in the back of their head. That's the thing. Women looking for that guy who turned them on sexually. That's the thing. See, a lot of guys ain't getting that. They thinking it's just some old shit. And they be trying that shit and then wonder how come the shit still ain't working. Because the women don't need that. Women going for guys who fulfill that need. Their biggest need is that companionship and that hot beef injection. Sure. Even babies. There's a whole lot of women having that baby without that man being around. There's a whole lot of them. Like, when you see some of these single mothers and shit out here, I don't give a fuck what they're trying to say. Oh, the fathers ain't there, the fathers ain't there. The fathers might not have been there to begin with. The father was probably just there just to, might have been a sperm donor or something. Shit. Women just want that baby. See, they still want that. A lot of them still want that. They just don't want the man. Shoot, in fact, one game some women will run is they'll find some dude, have sex with him, and then disappear on his ass. Just disappear on his ass. Don't even let him know. Women been doing that shit. They ain't even new. Because they been doing that like in lesbian communities and shit. They be doing that. Because you got some lesbian couples, shit, they'll get that one guy just to have a baby with. But yeah. Ooh. I better pull up over here. I know I gotta go get some vittles. But yeah, just understand that. They don't need that provider like they used to. I don't give a fuck what they say. And no matter what they saying, pay close attention to what they be talking about, all right? Pay close attention to it. Yeah, this is a short one. Like I said, it was coming from the eye doctor. Well, you know, I'm getting older now, so, you know, I gotta get this shit done once a year. But you know how that is. Yeah, gotta take care of myself a little bit better. So Uncle Ron will be here for y'all. So anyway, that's all I have. I'm gonna go home and do my thing. I don't know what I'm gonna eat today. Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace.